Happy Halloween, everybody! We're still a few weeks out, but it's the spooky season. I felt like it's time to introduce a new series here on Guggith Entertainment. My short films and video production will always still be my top priority, but I have a lot of downtime while I'm not filming. So I thought I'd start a new little show, which I'm promptly titling Guggith's Guide to the Galaxy. A very simple movie reviewing series. And with it being the spooky season, I thought, why not do a horror movie for my first entry? And hey, would you look at that? Halloween Ends just released on Friday. Let's start with that one, shall we?
Yes, I shall design this computer for you, and I shall name it also unto you, and it shall be called
Guggith's Guide to the Galaxy.
Oh, what a dull name.
So I just finished my second viewing of Halloween Ends. One on Thursday night and one on Peacock with my friends last night.
Bite his nose off! Bite his nose off!
In front of it, girl! Run sideways! What are you doing? You're so dumb! Run sideways!
Turn forward! Go to the left! Go to the left!
And after my second watch ended and hours of scrolling through Twitter, I have concluded that people are very wrong about this movie. Everyone has been saying how awful and miserable Halloween Ends is, comparing it to Halloween Kills or classifying it into the torture porn category. Now, I can understand why everyone is mixed on this movie, and for that, I blame the marketing. Halloween Ends was marketed as the final showdown between good and evil, Laurie versus Michael in the final showdown 40 years in the making, which the final act promises and delivers on. But what the majority of the movie is all about is the effect that Michael Myers has on a small town. The opening scene solidifies this, with every shot lingering on the dark hallway or the dark exterior, similar to the paranoia of the opening scene that the Batman had. Both scenes show the fear and delusions of criminals and citizens of Gotham/Haddonfield. The effect that Michael Myers has put on this town is immense fear, which regurgitates every single year on Halloween night, which is what the movie should have been marketed as. Not the final showdown between Michael and Laurie, because that isn't really what this movie's all about. I understand why people are saying how bad this film is. Well, yes, Halloween Ends has its issues throughout the movie that mess up the pacing and wrinkles the story a little bit. It's nowhere near a bad movie. The first and second act were boringly slow, but perfectly set up the third act in a very, very satisfying way. The third act being the actual final showdown that we are led to believe was the entire movie, or at least the majority of it. While boring, Halloween Ends is worth the build-up to the absolute balls-to-the-walls final fight. A very satisfying end to the film, which really made me want to go back and watch the original from 1987, as well as the one from 2018. I don't think I can go into more detail without spoiling some key plots of the movie, so this is your official spoiler warning. If you have not seen Halloween Ends and care about spoilers, please click away from this video right now and come back once you spoil it for yourself or you've watched the movie. Still with me? Alright, cool. We're here to talk about Corey, and how his introduction was a cool premise, just not in the right movie. His introduction in the cold open of the movie being a very wholesome babysitter makes you think, oh man, this babysitter guy is gonna be murdered, because yeah, you're in a Halloween movie. The Halloween babysitter always dies. Which is why I was unpleasantly surprised with my jaw on the floor when the child dies instead of the babysitter. And he doesn't even die by Michael Myers' hands. Michael's barely in this movie. He gets around 6 minutes of screen time, and the majority of it is at the end, in his own damn movie. In a total accident, Corey is the one who kills the little kid he's babysitting, slowly beginning his descent into madness that fuels the majority of this movie. And as the movie goes on and Corey kills more, he slowly goes off the deep end before attempting to take up the Michael Myers mantle himself. Obviously, that doesn't work, but he doesn't leave before racking up a couple of absolutely horrific kills, which is obviously the best part of the movie. While Laurie slowly catches whiff onto what's happening with Corey, Corey interacts more with Michael, and weirdly becomes best friends with him, which is an absolute red flag after another. The red flags that Allison somehow does not catch on to, which led her to believe that her own grandmother, who, let me remind you, is her only living family member left, killed her own boyfriend of 5 days, Romeo and Juliet style. But with Corey finally dead and all of that stuff out of the way, we finally arrived at the final conflict that we were promised. Laurie versus Michael Myers, one last time. The ultimate showdown that's been 40 years in the making, and my God does it slam all expectations out of the water. The fight is absolutely brutal, with both Laurie and Michael taking massive hits. Michael taking a fire extinguisher to the face, and Laurie almost getting her hand shoved down into the garbage disposal. Laurie tries to stab him in the neck with a sewing needle again, but Michael has learned from his mistakes and doesn't let that happen all over again. All of that leading to Laurie pinning Michael down on the dining room table, slitting his throat and monologuing to him. But guess what? That doesn't stop Michael Myers from escaping for one last scare. This one last scare intercut with flashbacks of the 2018 film and the 1978 one, with John Carpenter's killer Halloween score carrying us to the end of Michael Myers. Once the fight is finally over, the movie confirms there is absolutely zero way Michael could come back, with his body being tossed into a steel chipper, confirming this is the last Halloween movie. We get little glide to the Strode house as Laurie and Allison finally leave this crappy town behind, as Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult carry us into the end of the Michael Myers trilogy. For the final movie of the trilogy, it really was a bad time to introduce some pseudo-elevated kid who was influenced by the legend and horror of Michael Myers. Maybe if Halloween Kills had this movie's ending and swapped places with it on the timeline, making Halloween Ends the middle movie instead of the final movie, the story may have been a little bit more streamlined and neat. Halloween ends the trilogy with a 3.5 out of 10.